What did I just witness? Melania Trump has made a statement that seems to contradict everything her husband has done regarding the Epstein file investigation. Up next, I will show you exactly what she said and what experts are now asking, did she just undermine Donald Trump? Let's start with the moment that got everyone off guard before diving into the analysis.
Individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth.
Now, let's turn to the reaction. I mentioned this first one from a surprised CNN panel highlight the clear contradiction. Think of it like a setup in volleyball. This is the set and the spike is coming next, where we will see what may really be going on behind the scenes.
The fact that she is calling on Congress for an open hearing for these victims and survivors to provide their testimony. We have to compare that to what we have been hearing from President Trump, from the White House, from the Attorney General Pam Bondi before she left, talking about how America wants to move on from this, how they don't want to have these hearings, they don't want to draw this out, how people in the country are tired of talking about Epstein. You have a direct contradiction to that with the First Lady here. So yes, you have her defending herself, but she is also calling for what so many people across America have been calling for, which is a chance for these victims, for these survivors to come forward and speak on the record, speak to Congress. And she is actually calling on Congress to let them have this day in court. Obviously, court is metaphorical here, talking about Congress, but saying that everyone should have to testify under oath, talking about how men have lost their jobs because of their relationships to Epstein, saying that, of course, it doesn't make you guilty of anything, but it should be an opportunity to have the survivors talk, the victims talk, to get their side of the story out there. This, again, is completely the opposite of what we had been hearing in terms of the narrative and trying to get away from the narrative around Jeffrey Epstein, and coming from the First Lady in this kind of impassioned speech where she is directly addressing these claims, again, mostly claims that have been seen on social media. She names a few news outlets that had carried some of this, and then going into a call to action to even take this further, re-injecting the Jeffrey Epstein saga back into the media narrative and essentially saying Congress didn't do enough. That is such a stunning and stark departure from what we have been hearing, and to be given again by the First Lady standing there at the White House.
When I first watched the video, something immediately felt off. Warning signs started popping up because the Trump White House does not usually put something like that out without a deeper motive. And now, here is Sky News shedding light on what they may actually be trying to do.
Absolutely extraordinary. I have just been talking to colleagues here in the office. We can't think of a precedent for a First Lady making such a personal statement like this ever before. That was a live statement. You were playing it on a bit of a delay, but she made the statement live from the grand foyer in the White House. We knew that she was going to make a statement, but we had no idea what it would be about. And it was about, well, an elephant that has been in the room for quite some time. There have been rumours that have been circulating for quite some time about an alleged relationship or acquaintance between Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She has decided to get out ahead of those and ahead of perhaps more that may come out. Some of what she said and the tone in which she said it suggested perhaps that she was getting ahead of stories that may yet be to emerge. And she wanted to make quite clear that she had absolutely no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She said, "I am not Epstein's victim." She said that numerous fake images had been circulating. Be cautious, she said, about what you believe. These stories are completely false. She appeared to reference an email as well, an email that has been published, that is part of the Epstein files that have been released over a period of time. It's an email, I believe, from October 2002, an email that she is alleged to have written to Ghislaine Maxwell, the partner of Jeffrey Epstein. It's an email in which she writes to Ghislaine, "Dear G, how are you? Nice story about JE in NY magazine. You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in NY. Have a great time. Love, Melania." So says that email from 2002. Now, Melania Trump is saying in this extraordinary live statement from the White House that she is not associated with Jeffrey Epstein. She never has been. She never went on his aeroplane. That he had no part in her being introduced to her future husband, President Donald Trump, essentially totally disassociating herself with Jeffrey Epstein.
And how serious must the situation be for Melania to step forward on the Epstein issue and appear to break from the stance taken by Trump's White House? For now, some may see her as helping steady a difficult moment, but there is a sense that public perception could shift quickly once more details come to light.